Anita, what drew you personally to the plant-based treaty, and how do you describe your mission?
The plant-based treaty started in 2021 after a number of us met with Sephora Berman, Nicola Harris, our communications director, and Janelle, a mother of Genesis, who's a famous youth climate activist. I had heard that she had won a $2 million climate breakthrough award, and she was also in DiCaprio's film The 11th Hour. And I had known her since the 90s. She was my blockade coordinator for protecting old growth rainforests in Clayoquot Sound on the west coast of Canada. And I really admired her a great deal. She's an incredible environmental leader. And so we contacted her and we asked her, how do we put food on the climate agenda? She showed us the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty, which had just started 2 years prior in 2019, and she was the chair of it. And we were so impressed by it. It was based on the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which 50 years prior to 2018, that is 1968, this treaty had these three pillars, and the Fossil Fuel Treaty was based on the same three pillars. So the first pillar is stopping the spread of nuclear weapons. So in the case of fossil fuels, stopping the spread of fossil fuels through exploration and production. The second pillar was disarmament, and for fossil fuel treaty was how do you switch from fossil fuels to energy efficiency and renewables. And then the third pillar was positive civilian use of the technology. And in the case of the fossil fuel treaty, it was just transition. So we thought, wow, those three pillars could be applied to the global food system. Not making the problem worse by not spreading animal agriculture, which results in deforestation, stopping the spread of slaughterhouses and animal feed and things like that. And then the other principles would be redirecting to a plant-based food system by using positive measures like subsidizing fruits and vegetables, using restrictive measures as well by stopping the subsidies of for the problem. And then our third principle was restore. So like reforestation, rewilding, greening cities, food justice, and things like that. So like it was just a perfect sort of very comprehensive big idea. And you asked about, what is our vision? What is our mission? When we started, our vision was simply a global treaty that would be based on the Paris Accords, which is no global warming greater than between 1.5 and 2 degrees Celsius. But then we expanded our vision to also include local action at the city level and for institutions like universities, hospitals, and so forth. And our mission is to switch to a plant-based food system so that we can live within our planetary boundaries and rewild the earth.
Well, I was wondering if you could just tell us, why is addressing the food system essential to any serious climate strategy?
The food system alone will take us past 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius warming. So even if we stopped all fossil fuel emissions today, the food system alone will take us over that. And there's some things to look out for in particular, like the methane emergency. A majority of the methane emissions come from the food system, and in particular, meat, dairy, and eggs. Methane is a short-lived greenhouse gas. And if we address that, it would buy us time to work on other issues. But so like it's very important to address the food system. And the United Nations Environment Program said, if we could reduce methane emissions by 45% by 2030, we could prevent 0.3 degrees Celsius of warming. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that 0.3 degrees Celsius of warming could lead to hundreds of millions of more climate refugees, and massive biodiversity loss. And it's just like we have to fight for to prevent every 0.1 degrees of Celsius of warming. We really need to fight that. And I think food is a key issue, and it's not only about climate, but it also will help us address other planetary boundaries like fresh water use, land use, ocean acidification, and also humanitarian crises like poverty and hunger. So like it's the food system is the most important thing to focus on right now for a number of reasons, alongside what our friends in the environmental movement are doing with respect to fossil fuels.
So how has the plant-based treaty evolved since you first launched it?
So when we launched it in 2021, a number of cities endorsed right away, like Boynton Beach, within the first week. And it was a very much a symbolic endorsement. They said, we support the plant-based treaty, and we will write to the national government and ask them to start negotiations. So it was a very simple resolution. Now, when cities like Culver City and Cambridge endorse the treaty, they're looking at their climate action plans. They're looking to introduce, food policies, and it could affect a number of areas like procurement, events, city events, education, working with schools, the community gardens, and so forth.
That's great. Thank you so much. This is so important, and we are so excited to have you here. So, any closing statements, Anita? Anything to add?
Thanks, Judy. Yes, so we have a 5-year strategic plan. It's called Rooted in Action. And it goes up to 2030. So our goal by 2030 is to have 1,000 city endorsements, tens of thousands of teams, uh, more than 1 million individual endorsements, and tens of thousands of groups and cities endorsing, sorry, groups and businesses endorsing. And we think at that stage, we could begin the negotiation of a global plant-based treaty. So if you look at the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty, they already have more than 200 cities and they have 18 countries that have endorsed. A lot of small island states, but some bigger countries like Colombia and Pakistan. So they said when they get about 20, they will start the process. So they are actually beginning the process. So Colombia's organizing an international conference, April 28, 29, to this year in 2026 to start talking about how to work towards a fossil fuel non-proliferation treaty. In our case, we have 66 cities that have endorsed. We don't have any countries yet. We're working on that. But we're always looking to our big sister or big brother, the Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty for inspiration.
Right.
And so we hope to get some country endorsements soon. But that is sort of the pathway that we see is getting many, many more cities and trying to get maybe something like 20 countries by 2030, and then beginning negotiations on a plant-based treaty.
Yay, that sounds like a great 5-year plan. Well, we definitely want to help.